Welcome back to another React Chat UI Kit demo. Today we're going to be showing off how you can create a plugin architecture so that you can publish individual plugins which can then add functionality to your web chat dynamically. So here we've created a plugin folder within the demo React Chat repo, which will act as our plugin. And the actual functionality we're going to be adding is very simple. We're just going to have this custom message type which renders a iframe pointing to the Tetris.com website. In order to register that, we have this plugin object, which is what we're going to actually attach to the window of our browser to indicate that it has been registered. And the interface you can see here, it just has a name and a message. So we want to have a name and a message potentially, and that message is going to be a component that we're going to render when this specific plugin is hit. And for the name, we just want it to be a unique name across all of our different plugins. So the last thing being in the main file, we're just registering our plugin on window.vf plugin. So this way we can access it within our web chat code. So I'm going to quickly just build that plugin. You'll see it creates this bundle.mjs file. And then you'll see we've added that to our index.html file in demo React Chat. So here we have this script tag, which it's important that it comes before the source main.tsx script tag because we want to make sure our plugins are registered before we go to actually render anything that requires those plugins. So we have that script tag added. And now how do we actually enable this plugin? Well, first let's just see that we have this working. So let's run yarn dev in the demo React Chat. We'll open that link. And let's just load the page here. And if we take a look at the network JS requests, and let's maybe filter this down to local, or I guess not. We want something called bundle. There we go. We can see our bundle.mjs loaded from that plugin build folder. Great, so our file is being loaded. We should now be able to see window.vf plugin. Great, so it has the Tetris plugin added, the name Tetris, and you can see we have our message here, which is that component that's going to render. So how do we hook the rest of it up? Let's take a look inside of the source code for the demo React Chat. So there's two main places that we've plugged this in, plugin. We have the plugin trace, which is basically where we have all the logic of checking to see whether a plugin has actually been registered to the window, and if it has, then we can set up a custom message for it. And if it hasn't, then we will skip it and just add this message indicating that something went wrong. We weren't able to find a plugin with that name. So here this is looking for some custom action coming from our Voiceflow bot. So here I can bring that up and show you what that looks like. So we're basically we have this intent activate plugin, which has a couple of different phrases, but start plugin, launch plugin. In this case, plugin would be Tetris, the Tetris plugin. And then it's going to say, great, activating that plugin. If the plugin is Tetris, it'll head down this path and it will send the custom action plugin : Tetris. And if it heads down this other path, it'll show something like, I don't know about that plugin. It's not configured. Can I help you with anything else? So we want to hit this plugin Tetris path, which will send this custom action. And we want to now handle this custom action in our web chat code. So here's where we're doing that. We're checking to see, does the type start with this prefix, plugin : and if it does, great, a plugin has been triggered, basically. We're going to then extract the name from that type, just so that we can get, great, if it was plugin : Tetris, then name here should be Tetris. We're then going to pull that plugin from the window, so we're going to look it up on that VF plugin property. And then if that plugin has a message, so allows us to add a custom message, then we will push a custom message including the name of the plugin, which is when we'll render it in the actual web chat. Otherwise, we can push this custom message saying there's no plugin registered with that name. Make sure to run yarn build in the plugin folder. So this is just an indicator within this demo so that if someone hasn't run yarn build, they'll know what's up. Great, so this is what we're going to add here. We then register that plugin trace with the rest of the traces in our context here. And then the last piece is just setting up the actual rendering of that message. So you can see here we are grabbing any custom message plugins, and then we are rendering the message here by grabbing it from the same VF plugin lookup and then rendering it. We may actually simplify this so that the message actually just gets passed here directly, so that it's easy to render. We don't have to deal with the case where it could potentially be null. Actually, let's just make that update live here. We can see that working nicely. So basically, the information that you pass in through the plugin trace is what gets made available. It's what is made available here when you're actually going to render. So let's just change the logic here to instead of passing the name, we'll pass message. Is that plugin message, which we now know to be truthy. And there we go. Excellent. So let's take a look at what that looks like. We've got our yarn dev still running here, and that's updated. So let's take a look and open up our assistant here. I can close that. I'm just going to say open Tetris. And we're activating the Tetris plugin. And there we can see that it rendered the Tetris iframe, and then it moved on to the next message. I didn't add a stop on that custom action, so that makes sense. So there you go. That's how you can get a kind of plugin-like framework working with the web chat, Voiceflow's web chat. And you can certainly add additional plugins as long as the plugins meet this format and get registered on the window in this same way. That's kind of the only requirement that's enforced right now. And the plugin trace, as well as the code here in the demo, should be able to handle all of the cases where you're adding additional custom message types. So you actually shouldn't have to make any additional changes there. You can just continue to create new plugins and register those new plugins on the index HTML file. And there you go. That's it.